Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and this is Habib again. This is my second video on my channel, and I would like to thank everybody that actually subscribed or watched my previous video, that left comments and suggestions. I really appreciate it. I never really expected so many subscribers to come out of a 30-minute rambling video that was poorly edited, and it was my first attempt at actually making a YouTube commentary kind of thing. So I thank you all for that. I got a lot of new friends. I got a few people that hated my guts just because I talked something that was conceived as bad about the consoles, I guess. Like, one guy was like, yeah, you're just a PC elitist. And you know what? You'll never ever get your hand on Killer Instinct on the Xbox One. And that was his argument. Like, yeah, it runs at 1080p, 60 frames per second. So, you're wrong. And I'm like, yeah, I don't understand fanboys like that. This episode is going to generate even more hate because I'm going to talk about what I hate about PC gaming. And don't get me wrong, I'm a PC gamer as much as I am a console gamer. I have over 600 games on Steam. I pretty much spend most of my time playing games on Steam. So, yeah, to say that, or somewhat to conclude out of this video that I hate PC gaming would not be true. I'm just overly cynical and critical over things that are kind of stupid about PC gaming. And there's a lot of things that are stupid about PC gaming. And the first thing that really bugs me about PC is the fragmentation that we have. If you want to build a computer, the first thing you're going to have to choose from is the CPU. You're going to go with Intel or AMD. And the same thing with the GPU. You've got NVIDIA and you've got AMD. Each one of them has different tiers of their cards. You've got the GTX 970, the 960 is coming soon. You've got the 980, you've got the GTX Titan, you've got the Titan Z, you've got the Titan Black. And there are different providers. You can get it from Asus, MSI, you can get it from Gigabyte, you can get it from PNY, you can get it from EVGA. And let's not even talk about the hard drives or the RAMs that you can get, like DDR3, DDR4, depending on the board that you're going to install. So it's fragmented, like hell. And most people will say, hey, fragmentation actually is a good thing in this case because you get to customize your computer the way you like, depending on the budget that you have. Good, it's an advantage, but it's a dual-edged sword. Because a developer will have a very hard time tweaking your games and making sure that it's optimized to run on every single configuration out there. It comes to the point where optimizing a game to run on every single configuration is almost impossible. And because of that, most games that are coming on PC, they are delayed, sometimes for a few months, sometimes for a year, sometimes for more than a year. GTA 5 has been out on PS3 since forever, and we still don't have it on PC. The previous Assassin's Creeds used to be delayed on PC all the time. Mortal Kombat got delayed on PC. It didn't come out like until way, way later. And it's a fact that we kind of used to by now. Games come out on consoles and we wait for a bit and then they come out on PC later on. The trend might be a little bit less noticeable with a few games, but it's still there. We're still waiting for Assassin's Creed Rogue. So, there you go. Delays will happen because of it. And most of the times, the delays won't really help much because you'll get the game and it's still kind of not optimized to all configurations. So it's a, for a newcomer, that's a big issue because again, to pick a computer for yourself, you're gonna have to at least either Google every single one of those companies and each one of those components, sorry, and the advantages and disadvantages, read all the benchmarks and see which components work with what. And that's going to take you a long time and effort. Or you can go and buy a pre-built computer, a gaming rig from people like Alienware, would cost you something like 20,000 dirhams. Not easy to just drop on a computer. Well, some of them are cheaper, but again, they're overpriced. Most of the pre-built computers are overpriced. Or do what most people do. They just go and ask a friend to build them a computer. And that's fine. You can get a very good computer for like $1,000 these days. Even like $500, $600 would get you a decent computer these days. It would run games way better than the consoles do. But you'll come across another problem as a newcomer. Okay, you build your computer and you're happy with it. You go home, you install Steam, you install Origins, you install whatever, and you start downloading games. You download Battlefield and Call of Duty, Skyrim, and I don't know, World of Goo. And the first thing you're going to notice is the options menu that's going to have way more options than your console equivalent. And the options menu is going to be confusing as hell. Why do I say that? Well, the first thing you're going to notice is the anti-aliasing, and most people don't even know what that is. And then you're going to like alt tab out of the game, you go to Wikipedia, just Google it, and you're like, oh yeah, it reduces the jaggies, that's kind of cool. But then you dig a little bit deeper into the options menu, you find out that you have multiple ways to do anti-aliasing in a game. There's FXAA, there's MSAA, there's CXAA, there's multi-sampling, there's multi-sampling is MSAA. There's super sampling, there's temporal sampling, and there are other ones that I forgot. And you can do it 2x, 4x, 16x, and sometimes the 16x of another one, like MSAA, is actually faster than a 4x super sampling. You're like, what the hell is going on here? And that's just one option. And then you go to the other one, and it's called ambient occlusion, and you're like, what the fuck is that? So it is confusing. Very few games actually offer a explanation, or an explanation on the side, like, okay, this is what you're changing now, and this is what kind of effect it'll do. But it doesn't really help that much. The options menu is very confusing for newcomers. There are other ways that they try to mitigate that, but most of them don't work. A lot of games have an auto detection that will detect your components and will decide which settings you will have to. Well, it'll set for itself, so the game would run at best resolution and best frame rate and best everything. 90% of the time, that's not accurate. Sometimes you just click on that, it'll optimize the game so it would run at 30 frames per second. Well, which for PC gamers, most of them don't really like that. You would like it to have 60 frames per second at least. Or maybe you're the kind of guy that would like to have more aesthetically pleasing scene, but you don't really care for the frame rate. So these are things that you have to dig into yourself. But it takes a long time. And it doesn't stop at the options menu. You go out of the options menu, you go out of the game itself. NVIDIA, you can go to the NVIDIA control panel and you can change the settings from there. And there are settings in there that will be enforced into the game that are not even in the options menu. And it doesn't stop there even. If you're really digging deep into the PC gaming scene, you'll be digging into any files, XML files, third-party configurators that will configure the graphics settings of your games beyond what the game's options menu provide. And that's just to tweak your game to run the way you like. Yes, the end result is way better than anything else, but the effort to get there is just atrocious. It's just, some people enjoy it. I enjoy it myself, but I keep thinking of the newcomer, someone who just bought a PC, because right now PC is the leading platform for gaming. They're going to be facing that, and they're like, they told me it's just plug and play. I just download Steam, download the game, and play it. What the hell? I've been spending hours now tweaking the game and researching what anti-aliasing and ambient occlusion means. That's just nuts. Yeah, I mean, and there are some games that have like options on their menu that don't make any sense, and you don't see them in any other game. You have things like in Wolfenstein New Order. It has like, I wrote it down here because I keep forgetting, max PPF. What the fuck is that? Nobody even understands what max PPF is. I had to Google it. And there's another one, screen space reflection. I've never seen it used in a game except for Wolfenstein: The New Order. And you have to L-tab out of the game in Wikipedia or Google it, and you're like, ah, well, that's what they meant. When you have to go on Google to search for terms that are inside an options menu, that's just bad. That's just bad beyond belief. And especially like with games now, they don't even come with a manual anymore. So you can't just open the manual and go like, oh, that's what they mean. No, you have to just research it yourself. And okay, well, let's just forget about the options menu and the configuration. Number two, DRM. And a lot of people were defending DRM on PC when I was suggesting, when I was just collecting suggestions for this video, and they're like, yeah, DRM is just fine. We're fine with it. Steam itself is a DRM. A lot of games are online only games, even though they're single player game. You have games like SimCity. You've got games like Diablo 3. Even when you want to play it single player, you have to be online. And people will be like, but my computer is online all the time. What if you're on a laptop and you just want to go out in the park and play the game? Then you can't. There are games with like limited installation count, which is just ridiculous. I have one of the Command & Conquer games. I think it was Tiberian Sun. It was limited to 5 installs on 5 different machines. And every time you change a component to your computer, it counts as a new machine anyway. So now I have it there in my collection, a hard copy that I can't install anymore. And that's just stupid. Or let's not forget Darkspore, a game that had to be activated through a server that EA shut down a few years ago. And now if you have the game, you can't play it anymore. Unless it's installed already. But if you need to install it in another machine, good luck, because it can't be activated anymore. So, yeah, we have DRM-free games on PC. You can go to GOG.com and download them. But GOG doesn't have the size of the collection size of Steam or the Zora or any other outlet out there that has a lot of games that are still hooked on this DRM. And don't tell me that consoles have it too. Just because consoles have it too, it doesn't mean that it's okay to have it on PC. DRM is bad, period. Whether it's on console, cell phone, or PC, or whatever. It's just bad. It's just more potent and more aggressive on PC. And that's what I've been seeing. And their excuse is like, oh, well, piracy is more common on PC. Why do you think piracy is so common on PC? Because pirates are providing better services most of the time. You get the game for free, you get it faster, and sometimes it even runs better. Because it doesn't have to check in with a server online all the time. So, think, please, just stop it with the DRM. Stop it. It's freaking stupid. I have 2 other points that I want to talk about. Actually, 3 other points. I have a gripe to pick with Steam. Have you ever been to the Steam front page recently? It's filled with garbage. There is zero quality control on Steam right now. Anyone can just go on HTML and just code a game, a text game, and release it on Steam. There's so much garbage coming from like I don't know, ports from mobile, and we have incomplete games, early access games, games that don't even work. Jim Sterling is making a living by just playing complete and utter broken games from the Steam page, the Steam front page. He doesn't even dig through. He just goes to the Steam front page, picks up a random game, plays it for 20 minutes, and he's making big bucks on YouTube by doing that. That's how bad it became. It became a joke on itself. I used to say that the mobile market was oversaturated with bad games. Right now, I'm looking at iOS and Android, and I'm saying to myself, well, they're better than Steam at least. And maybe the curator program kind of helps. Maybe the rating system kind of helps. But if you're a newcomer to this platform, the first thing you're going to know from people that just go like, hey, buy a PC, install Steam, download games. They'll go on the front page of Steam and they'll see page after page after page of complete and utter garbage. They might try a few games, they might watch a trailer or two, and they'll find that most of the games over there are garbage. And that's just bad. So we need more quality control on Steam. And it used to have quality control. It's not like I'm asking them to invent something new. It used to have it. A few years ago, no one could get a game on Steam unless it passes their quality control. What happened to that? Maybe they just wanted to expand their library, but it didn't expand now. It just exploded beyond control. And I'm not the only one who's angry at it. I see a lot of YouTubers and a lot of people in the PC gaming community are pissed off because of it. So we need to get that fixed somehow. Okay. Next point would be the multiple launchers. Now, why do I have an issue with that? Now, you can't get every single game on Steam. Some of them will be on Origins, and some games you'll have to launch another launcher, which is Uplay. Some of them are on Desura. GOG will have their own launcher soon called GOG Galaxy. And every single MMO has its own launcher. League of Legends has its own launcher. So, PC is now pushing into the living room space. PC's trying to, Valve tried to introduce the big picture mode on Steam, which you can control with the controller. It looks like a sort of like an interface from a console, and you control it with a controller, and you just like pick the game, play the game. It's supposed to be simple, but now it's becoming more and more impossible because a lot of games are not even on Steam, and you have to launch other launchers, so they'll require you using a keyboard and mouse. And let's just not even think about the launchers themselves. Go back a few steps before when I talked about tweaking your game through editing INI files, XML files, third-party launchers, and sometimes even, I don't know, like tweaking the games would require you to use your mouse and keyboard anyway. And what about games from GOG? Right now they don't have a launcher anymore, but yeah, you'll have to like use the keyboard and mouse to use them. And maybe, I mean, the best way to do it now is to actually tweak your game and make sure that it works while you're still sitting on the desk, and then just mark that game as TV ready so you can launch it from Steam. And that's an extra step. The whole process is not streamlined at all. And having multiple launchers is complicated things even more. Why can't I just have one little platform that I can play games from, one little app, one little launcher, and it can run, well, on PC, on tablet, or whatever. Windows 10 is promising that it's going to streamline your whole process and you can stream your PC experience everywhere. Maybe we'll see that happening, but I highly doubt it. Because they'll always, with PC, it's such an open source kind of platform that there's always going to be someone who's going to invent something like, hey, I'm just going to go out of this platform, out of this launcher, and I'm going to do my own thing, and maybe it's going to be better. And I kind of hate that. But again, I mean, I always sit on my desk. I never play on my TV, so maybe I don't mind, but I always think about the newcomers, the ones that want to launch all their games on the television. They won't be able to, unless they get a wireless keyboard and mouse, which is not as comfortable as having a controller. I have to admit, like, a controller on the couch is way, way better. So, yeah. And this leads us to the last part. The last part is why I see a lot of collectors shying away from PC. And is one of the reasons why I picked up some games on consoles, even though they didn't run as good as they did on PC, and knowingly I picked them up on console anyway. And that's because we don't get as many hard copies. No. Before you go like, oh, he doesn't like digital copies. Hey, I have 600 games on Steam. I love having the convenience of just clicking a game and it runs right away. I don't have to look for the CD or look for the DVD and put it in my computer. That's kind of nice. But think about the collectors who like to have full shelves like these with their games stacked up. They like to have their figurines that came with their games. A lot of games on PC don't even have the collector's edition, and they have the collector's edition on consoles, which is just stupid. I believe the Arkham City and Arkham Asylum didn't come in collector's form on PC. The early Assassin's Creed was the same. I think Injustice, Gods Among Us didn't come as a collector's edition on PC. I'm just like looking at the games that I have. Mortal Kombat 9 didn't come out as a collector's edition on PC. What else is there? Well, that's all I can think of right now. But just do an Amazon search and you'll be surprised. There's a lot of AAA titles that come... Oh, Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2 is one of them as well. I have the PS3 copy, even though I bought it on PC. It plays better on PC. It looks better on PC. But I wanted the collector's edition. So I have to pick up a console edition just to have the figurines and the art book and everything. And that's a major turnout for a lot of collectors. And I know that you might say, hey, go to Amazon.com and order some. But you don't really have all the options on Amazon. Even on Amazon, they don't even release it. And it's even worse here in the Middle East. Have you ever been to GK, Sharaf DG, or any of the stores that we go, Virgin Megastore, any of the stores that we go and buy games from? The PC section is always the smallest. And then they have like multiple versions of World of Warcraft, maybe Diablo 3, and Assassin's Creed, maybe. Some AAA titles, and that's it. Nothing else. The collection never renews. And compared to the console section, it's rather small. And that part kind of, it annoys me to no end. Right now, there's a new game on Steam, a new RTS. What's it called? Grey Goo. Now, Grey Goo is supposedly the next best RTS out there. Is there a hard copy of it? No. Maybe I can find one on Amazon, but I couldn't find one in the store shelf. I want to go to Virgin Megastore and just pick it up. I want to put it there on my shelf next to my other games. I can't, because it's not there. And that kind of sucks. So that concludes pretty much most of the points that I hate about PC. I could just keep rambling forever if I wanted, but I don't want to. Well, thank you again for subscribing, for sharing this video, leaving a like, leaving a comment. Just leave me a comment. Just what do you like? Do you like this video? Do you like, even if it's a dislike, just let me know what you like and what you dislike. Because I'm still experimenting here. And yeah, I would like to know what you think. So, bye.